It's time to dust off your favourite chair and sit in front of the big screen TV. Get a drink in your hand because it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Your number one host, the Thunder from Down Under, a man on a quest to make money for beer. Sparring DK presents Relegation Regen Rebuild, Atletico Madrid. Hello and welcome to the first inaugural Atletico Madrid Relegation Regen Rebuild REGENAIRO Award. Now that is a mouthful, but we've had our first season and we've come through with the goods. Mancini managing to hold his job. But today we get in to see who is the best player voted by you guys at home. You would have been hopefully voting in every single episode. And today we run through every single match with a live count and we get to see who is named the REGENAIRO champion of the 2017-2018 season. So without further ado, let's jump into game number one. Game number one, and the first vote of the season. The first vote goes to Diaz. 2 votes for Lovato and 3 votes for Old Man Bando. Now he started off, we just thought we were on song. I think we won the first game, Bando scoring 2 goals, and he's taken the 3 votes here. Moving in to game number 2, and it's 1 vote for Damian Silva, 2 votes for the Bulgarian regen in Nedlev, and 3 votes, Old Man Bando again. So a good start here for Bando, although that soul-crushing injury he gets later in the season and obviously coming to the end of his career, you can't see him holding on to the lead for too long. Moving into game number 3, Bando with a nice lead there with 2 man-of-the-match performances. 1 vote is for Diaz, 2 votes for Silva, and 3 votes for Lovato. So the keeper must have got a clean sheet there because he's picked up the 3 points. Moving into game number 4, Lovato makes a move into second with 5 points. Let's get into the points count. It is 1 vote for Diaz. So a solid achiever here, Diaz, just picking up a point here and there. Castillo in with 2 points and 3 votes for Lovato, and he will go to the top of the table. Moving into game number 5, and we've got 1 vote for Lovato, still top of the table. 2 votes for Bando and 3 votes for Damian Silva. So obviously the regens and the youth players that came in at the start are going to have more points going on here, but we got some real talent towards the later stages of the career and the season, and they will obviously feature a bit later on. But Lovato on to 9 points. Moving into game number 6, and we've got 1 vote for Singh, our second regen, the young lad from India. 2 votes for Diaz and 3 votes for Alan Smith. Okay. Well done, Smithy. 3 votes. Moving into game number 7, and we've got 1 vote for Castillo. 2 votes for Diaz. 3 votes in Inamoto. So the Japanese old man gets 3 points in that one, but Diaz is just chipping away here. We move into game number 8. Diaz has made a move. He sits in 3rd position. Let's get into the votes. It's 1 for Romero, 2 for Lovato, and 3 for Diaz. So Diaz has been having some good games there at left back. Lovato obviously chipping in again, hopefully with a clean sheet. He'll go to 11 points and still be top of the table. We move into game number 9, and it's 1 vote for Inamoto, 2 votes Lovato, 3 votes for Damian Silva. So the boys creeping up here, but it's still Lovato leading the leaderboard. We move into game number 10, and it's Lovato out by 3 points. Let's get into the votes, though. It's Suda with 1 point, 2 points for Singh, and 3 votes for Sergio Alvarez. Now, we know he is going to be a big game player. Did get a big injury, but definitely it was involved in a lot of games this year. We're already into game 10, though, and he's only getting his first points for the season. Moving into game number 11, and we've got 1 vote for Lovato, 2 votes for Alvarez, and 3 votes for the Indian Singh. Okay, well done, Singh. 3 more votes. Moving into game number 12, and we've got 1 vote for Singh, 2 votes for Diaz, and 3 votes for Damian Silva. So the leaders are pushing up, and Singh is starting to make a run. Moving into game number 13, and it's another vote here for Singh. 2 votes for Silva, and he'll go equal top of the table, and 3 votes for Rodriguez, and I think that's his first points for the season. Well, we move into game 14, and it's tied at the top between Lovato and Silva. Let's get into the votes, though. It's 1 vote for Old Man Flynn, 2 votes for Castillo, and 3 votes for Romero. So maybe we played our reserves team in that one. I'm not too sure, but Castillo picking up some points and Romero as well. We move into game number 15 and it's 1 vote for Rodriguez, 2 votes Sergio Alvarez, and 3 votes for Indian Singh. Another big game there for the Indian. Well, we move into game 16 and Sander Singh has made a run up the table. He now sits in 4th, and it was interesting to see at the end of the finale. Most people said that we should let him go, but he's been a high point scorer here so far, so he's obviously doing something right. Let's get into the points though. It's 1 vote for Sancho Gallardo, 2 votes El Basisi, and 3 votes for Diaz. Well, we move into game number 17 and Diaz has now taken the lead with 15 points. Let's get into the votes though. It is 1 for Aguado, 2 votes Lovato, and 3 votes for Sancho Gallardo. So Lovato will go back to the top of the leaderboard. Moving into game number 18 and it is 1 vote for Sergio Alvarez, 2 votes for Lovato, and 3 votes for Jose Manuel. So, Manuel getting his first points of the season. Lovato increasing his lead once again. Moving into game number 19 and it is 1 vote Inamoto, 2 votes for Rodolfo Gallardo, and 3 votes for Fiverr. Okay, we must have played the reserves team in that one for 2 of the old boys getting a gig and getting points in this one. That might be Gallardo's first points for the season as well. Moving into game number 20 and we've got 1 vote for Damian Silva, 2 votes Sergio Alvarez, and 3 votes for Jose Manuel. Starting to get on the board here. Manuel did some really big jobs for us in the middle of the season. Right, we move into game number 21 at the halfway point of the season. It is Lovato by 3 points over Diaz and Silva. Let's get into the votes though. It is 1 for Sancho Gallardo, 2 votes for Lovato, and 3 votes for Jose Manuel. Another man of the match performance there for Manuel. Moving into game number 22 and we've got 1 vote for Singh, 2 votes for Lovato, and 3 votes for Sancho Gallardo. So Gallardo starting to pick up some points here, but Lovato is increasing his lead on the rest of the competition. Moving into game number 23, Lovato is now out by 7 points. Let's get into the votes. And it is 1 for Sergio Alvarez, 2 for Lucio Prado, and 3 for Jose Manuel. Moving into game number 24, and we've got 1 vote for Sancho Gallardo, 2 votes for Nedelev, and 3 votes for Jose Manuel. He's done it again. Right, moving into game 25, and Manuel's making his run up the board. Let's get into the votes. It's 1 vote for Sergio Alvarez, 2 votes Jose Manuel, and 3 votes for Nedelev. Moving into game number 26, and Manuel's moved into 2nd place. He's 5 points behind Lovato. Let's get into the votes though. It is 1 for Gallardo, 2 votes for Castaneda, and 3 votes for Castillo. So Castillo must have put in a big defensive performance as he picked up the 3 votes. Moving into game number 27, and it's 1 vote for Lovato, 2 votes Sergio Alvarez, and 3 votes for Diaz. Diaz picking up a man of the match performance, and all the boys around the top are sniffing him with points here. Moving into game 28, and it is 1 vote for Rodolfo Gallardo, 2 votes for Sergio Alvarez, and 3 votes for Cardenas. Okay. Cardenas getting his first point of the season. Game number 29, and we've got 1 vote for Garcia, 2 votes for Lovato, and 3 votes for Nedelev. So the Bulgarian picking up another man of the match performance. Well, we move into game 30. There's 12 games to go, and it is Lovato out by 7 points. Let's get into the votes. It's 1 for Lovato, 2 for Aguado, and 3 for Sancho Gallardo. Moving into game 31, and we've got 1 vote here for Silva, 2 votes for Diego Lopez, and 3 votes for Luciano Arnos. I think that might be where he just came in and absolutely took the game by storm. Game 32, and we've got 1 vote for Russo, 2 votes Aguado, 3 votes Luciano Arnos. So, Arnos, back-to-back man of the matches. Moving into game number 33, and it is 1 vote for Russo, 2 votes, Damian Silva, 3 votes, Aguado. Game number 34, and we've got 1 vote for Gallardo, 2 votes for Aguado, and 3 votes for Arnos. Once again, he had a nice little purple patch there, Arnos. Moving into game 35, Aguado and Arnos have made their way inside the top 10. They only came into the season quite late, so they picked up a lot of key points and probably why we got back into the season. Let's get into the votes though. It is Rodriguez with 1 vote, 2 votes for Arnos, and 3 votes for Russo. Moving into game number 36, it's 1 vote for Gallardo, 2 votes for Arnos, and 3 votes for Sergio Alvarez. And I think this is where Alvarez might have come back from his injury, so he could be in with some points, but will anyone be able to catch Lovato? We move into game 37. Alvarez has moved himself into 2nd position, Arnos into 7th. Let's get into the votes though. It is 1 for Lovato, 2 for Aguado, and 3 for Sergio Alvarez as he starts to make a move. Moving into game 38, and it is 1 vote for Amaral, 2 votes for Alvarez, 3 votes Damian Silva. So Alvarez closes the gap. Moving in to game number 39. There are 3 points between Lovato and Alvarez. We've got 1 vote for Garcia, 2 votes for Sancho Gallardo, 3 votes Lovato, and he increases his gap between 1st and 2nd. All right, 3 games to go. We move into game number 40, and let's have a look here. We've got 1 vote for Jose Manuel, 2 votes for Alvarez, 3 votes for Aguado. So Alvarez closes the gap once again. We move into the second last game of the season, and let's go. 1 vote for Amaral, 2 votes Aguado, 3 votes Russo. And with that, you can probably assume that Lovato will be the Regenero winner, but we will push on. We move into the final game of the season, and Lovato cannot be caught, so let's get into the votes. It is 1 for Lovato, 2 for Jose Manuel, and 3 for Arnos. So Lovato is the inaugural Regenero winner. He is the captain of the club, and he's carried us through the season with ups and downs all over the pitch. He's been all over the media watch, but he's come out as voted by you guys the #1 player this year. So that ends us here for the Regenero for the season 2017-2018. The captain, Lovato, has taken it by 5 points over Sergio Alvarez, who had an extremely good season even though he did get injured. Silva surprisingly comes through with 21 points. Jose Manuel in only half the season polls 20 points. Diaz was ever reliable, got himself 18 points. Our Scout Future star in Gallardo with 17. Aguado with 17 and Arnos with 16 respectively, only coming in probably the last 10 or so games. Singh definitely handy there in the midfield with 12 points, and the Bulgarian regen in Nedelev rounds out the top 10 with 10 points. So that is the Regenero for the first season. Hopefully you've enjoyed the count, and hopefully you are ready for season #2. Who will be the champion next year? Make sure that you are voting in every single game, and we will have another count for you at the end of season #2. Thanks very much for tuning in today. I'm Sparring DK. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, and you have a good one.